Oh, what's up, people? Can y'all hear me? Everything's good? Everything is golden. Outa, Taylor, Nafisa, Serenity. What's going on, guys? Oh, man. I'm going to minimize that real quick. Oh. Helga, what's going on? Oh, I hope everyone's day is good. I try to suck down the soda real quick. Gotta get some caffeine. Okay. Part 5. Part 5, what's up, Ice? How am I doing today? I am super tired. I got some rest last night. I fell asleep at like 7 o'clock last night. Got up at like 10 this morning. Still sleepy. Still tired. So, but I'm good. I'm good. Figure I'd get on. We'd do some more of the notes today. Keep the fundraiser going. We got a couple days left. See what we can do today. See what we can learn about today. I'm ready to, excuse me, I know that was loud. Can learn about today. I'm super excited to see where we're going next. Lilani, what's up? How are you? Oh. We're going to give everybody a few minutes to trickle in real quick. Don't know how long that's going to take. There ain't been much going on today with me, guys. I got up, spent some time with Cass. Got on a phone call with Swiss to work on the logo stuff. And then watched a little bit of music videos and then got on here. So... hasn't been a very long day, but what's up, Victoria? How are you? You guys, this Victoria right here is the one we're doing the fundraiser for. So this is the one we're doing the fundraiser for. It's in the description. I know most of y'all know the story, but she's got some things going on inside the old brain, pushing on her optic nerve. And we're raising money for when she goes to get her operation done to fix it. We want to try to help raise some funds to put her family up nearby so they could be there for her. So she's been one of my longtime viewers since like 60-something subscribers. So and she's on all my all my things that I have, she supports. So trying to give back a little bit. Trying to give back. So. Appreciate all of you being here. And if you guys want to donate, the link's in the chat. If you can't, it's okay. I'm just glad you're here. You guys are going to go on the ride with me through the notes. I'm ready to find out what happens next. I'm going to give it about 5 to 10 more minutes, and then we're going to start reading. So somebody talk to me. Tell me what's going on. Oh, Purple, you back, Victoria. Appreciate you. Done so much for you. I've done what I can. I don't know if it's so much, but I've done what I can. So we've got a couple more days with this. I'll get with you on after the stream on Twitter, and we'll talk about when you're going in and stuff, so I know how long I have. What's up, Madeline? This is your first live stream. I'm here for it. I'm excited. Hey, what a stream to show up for, too. Things were getting good yesterday, and we're picking back up where we left off. I've got everything bookmarked, ready to go. We're just going to wait for everyone to get here. You guys can talk to me for a minute. I know, it's not much, but it is what it is. And I'm just glad you're all here. I appreciate you being here, guys. So if y'all have a little bit of patience, we'll get started. So I just want to give everyone an opportunity to show up that can show up. I know I normally do late night streams, but I've been trying to do daytime streams for this to catch a bit of the audience that doesn't get a chance to see it. And we will be doing like a compilation of everything I've reviewed, plus some theories after the fact. And before we get to the webtoon, which I'm doing videos for, I will not be doing live stream for the webtoon. I'm gonna do that on my own time, but I will compile everything together, and we will go from there. And while I'm working on that, I will be releasing some videos on Patreon and YouTube for you guys to watch and stay entertained. So. Yeah, I binge watched all your previous live streams today. Oh my god, you must have been so busy. So long, dude. I appreciate it though. I'm glad you're staying dedicated with it. That's awesome. Now you are where we are. So, before we get started, most of you, I know most of you, what's up, Emily? I know most of you have read the notes, but who's taking the journey with me? This is the first time seeing the notes. Have all of y'all seen the notes? Because I know there's a few of you watching. I know Liz is taking the journey with me, but I don't see her in here, I don't think. So, Smeraldo book made a poll today for armies to vote. Oh, a poll. Okay. Cool. I can't wait to jump on that too. So, keep missing the streams? It's okay. That's the great thing about YouTube. They record it. I record it, so just in case something goes wrong. No. You've seen most of them, but not everything. Well, I'm not sure if we're covering. I feel like that everything's gonna be in here. The way they've listed everything chronologically, I think maybe we just got confused. Like all the notes are probably gonna be in here, but I'm sure there's some side stuff I'm missing. I'll find it though. No, haven't read the previous notes, but you've been keeping up with the new ones. Says Ice. All right. And they're making you guys decide what happens next. What does that even mean? How do you decide what they've been navigating this whole time? You know? Interesting. Continuing of the storyline. Oh, that makes more sense. Okay. And what was the other option? To end the storyline? Because, like, I feel like maybe they thought that was going to be a thing that they were going to do, and instead decided, well, what if everybody's not ready? Like, they don't want to make the wrong move, so they're just like, let's let the people decide. So, two different directions. Well, okay, so there was no end. They were just going to go. What was the other way? What was the other option? I haven't been on Twitter much today, so I don't know. Oh, I can't believe they did that to you guys. That's funny. This way, if things go south on how it turns out, they won't be able to take the blame. It's like, hey, you guys voted for it, you know, like, that's smart marketing. And what if they already filmed it and like we have the other option? Because I feel like it's something that Big Hit would do. They'd be like, let's just film both of them, and whatever they vote on, we'll show. And then, like, months later, they'll be like, this is what could have happened. And then we'll have two separate entities, like the Flashpoint. Like, what if he had never done this and done this instead, and it went this way? And it'll just confuse theorists, like, constantly. Oh, man. That's a big decision, you guys. It was two options about Tay, two detection for him, what to do. Got a story, and then we can decide what happens between two different things. Didn't know what to do at the moment. I wouldn't doubt the Big Hit would do that too. I think they will. I'm gonna say they're gonna do it. That's just smart marketing. Because, like, not only is it extra content, but it, like, gives the fans another option. You know what I mean? And then you guys will have, like, we'll all have army wars about which storyline's better. Oh, man. I could see that happening, dude. I could see that happening. I would stick around for that. That'd be cool. That'd be fun to watch. So, as long as it's all love and nobody, like, gets heated about it. That's what Atiz does to you? Well, that's probably what they'll do then. That's probably what they'll do. Man, that's awesome. 3 more minutes. 3 more minutes, and we give everybody a bit to wind up here and grab their seat, you know what I mean? So what about Big Hit? They clowned y'all? How did they clown you? They make us vote for everything and then never end up going with one option. They drop it all. How's my nose? It still hurts. It's actually, I'll try to get in here, but it's actually scabbed up pretty hardcore. And then I've got like a big blackhead over here. I wait for that thing to hit its peak before it goes boom. So, but it still hurts though. It's very tender. So, appreciate you asking, Anna. Thank you. You're always being clowned by Big Hit. I don't think they clown you guys. I think they hype you guys up because they want to see you guys excited. It's part of the marketing scheme. So, what happened to my nose? Says Lucetta. I was wrestling with Asia, and she had her mouth open because when I wrestle with her like a dog. Like I get on her level and I'll nudge her with my head and like I'll lay on the ground and just mess with her. And she got all excited and her mouth was open and her tooth scraped my nose. So she wasn't paying attention because I got her really hyped up. And I paid for it. It hurts. It hurts. It was an accident though. They had a countdown for the Spotify save link to the new album. Oh, yeah, you could see it way better than you could yesterday. It's well, the swelling, the pink around it has gone down, so like there's this big red spot on my nose now. What's up, Blaney? Blaming Columbia for today's clownery. They aren't at Big Hits promo level. Oh, come on now. We're waiting for the first countdown today, but there was nothing, just one Spotify announcement. She's chilling. She's right here. She's hanging out. Asia's being a good girl. Yeah. Yeah. She did just drag me around outside for 10 minutes in the blistering heat just so she could go pee. I'm a little upset about that because I thought there was going to be more to it, but it is what it is. So here's how today is going to work for anybody who's new. We are going to read 10 entries from the notes. Hey, there you are. Say hi. Say hi, guys. Just popping in. We're going to read 10 entries from the notes. We have roughly 24-ish left to go. So today's stream and tomorrow's stream should cover it. I might do 12 just so we can split it up to 2 days. And during this time, I will stop after each entry, ask questions. Please, no spoilers. If you want to answer my question, just answer directly. Don't explain anything beyond my question. Please, I would really like to make an inference about everything going on after the fact. And during this time, we will also have the ability, if you guys want to donate to the fundraiser and help me out, help Victoria out, you're more than welcome to. I will drop the link in between segments. And when you make a donation, you get the chipmunk voice, you get the chipmunk picture. His name is Crumb. He will be here. He will talk to you. He will thank you individually in front of everyone. And he's a goofy little chipmunk, so there's no telling what he may say. I'm just saying. And if you do, I appreciate you. If you can't, do not feel bad. Your support is all we need in order to support me without fundraisers. You go find Victoria on my page, on my Twitter page, and you send her a buttload of purple hearts. She's in here now. You can send her a buttload of purple hearts right now if you want to. That'd actually be really cool. And that's what we're gonna do today. After that, I'll hang out and I'll get out of here. We'll be back tomorrow for more. So that's the game plan, Stan. And it's 2:51 my time. We are a minute past time, so I'm going to go ahead and get started, you guys. We left off yesterday. Found out a lot of pairings, a couple more pairings. We found out that Jin has been reliving the same day over and over again as of this moment. Anything could change. We don't know yet. Well, or I don't know yet. But as it stands right now, Jin has been reliving the same day. Because he went about his day and had an entry, and then he woke up again and it was the same day. So that's the inference I'm making as it stands right now. And we found out that Jimin got out of the hospital. He's hanging out with J-Hope. And let's see, what else? I made an inference about the bus stop being the common place. It's almost like a checkpoint. That's been mentioned a lot. And yeah, that's where we are. So we're going to start today with J-Hope's entry at the 31st of May, same year 22. I believe this is the last year in the entries. And we'll go ahead and get started. So J-Hope writes, "Suddenly I felt breathless." Actually, you know what? Let's backtrack, do the last bit of this paragraph so we can kind of zoom into it. And this is from Taeyoung was the last person to say something. He said, There was something cold that climbed up my back, only to disappear. Everything in my world seemed to have collapsed. It was as if I was struggling in the deep sea, making others feel cold and scared, tragic and lonely. I was angry. I felt that I couldn't tolerate it anymore. I wanted to stop everything. I wanted to hit him, but the smaller part of me was still scared. My dad's blood inherently flowed in my veins. His DNA was my DNA. Was there violence in me too? There was something that wanted to burst out of my tightly wound body. So Tay was worried about how he may become just like his father if he picked up on his violence. Even though he wanted to hurt his dad for hurting him, he realized that if he did that, he'd be no better than his dad. So today's entry, or where we're starting today. J-Hope, 31st May, year 22. Suddenly I felt breathless and avoided my gaze. After dancing for a long time, I was breathing hard, but I don't think that was the reason. I thought she resembled my mother. No, I shouldn't have thought that. I have not been able to look straight at the face of a friend I've known for over a decade. Together, we learned how to dance, failed, got frustrated, and became empowered. I was sweating on the floor as she threw me a towel jokingly. At the time, I felt an emotion I had felt once before, but I got up from my seat in a hurry. As soon as I turned the corner, I stood with my back against the wall. I tried to sort out my breathing when I hear, Hosoka. Where are you going? A voice. Oh God. Gotta stop for a minute, guys. Thank you so much, Karen. I appreciate your donation. Victoria appreciates your donation. That was wonderful of you. And Crumb is a little snarky chipmunk, man. He's over here threatening to take my stuff, dude. What's up, Mochi? At the office, but I can listen in. All right, Tracy, I appreciate you. And automatically this pause. Have you on mute, but I'll replay this. Love y'all. See you later. Back to work. All right, no worries, no worries. What's up, Elena? Elena's, what's happening? So anytime someone makes a donation, my buddy Crumb, or my chipmunk buddy Crumb, he'll come in here and he'll thank you guys for your donation, and apparently threaten to take away my stream. He's a little smart monkey, dude. Yeah, I'll get him some acorns. He'll calm down. So, all right, where was I? It's a voice. I think it was a voice. How do y'all say that? I keep wanting to say Hosak. It's Hosok, right? Right? Hosoka? J-Hope, a voice calling. Now I haven't even thought about it. The voice that goes back to when I was 7. Yeah, crumb. Like a breadcrumb. Get it? Breadcrumb. Mochi came up with that name. I like it. No. What's up? Okay. I can do that. We'll just call him Hobie, man. It rolls right off the tongue. So let's analyze this for a second. This is a short one, obviously, but he gets frustrated, right? And with the fact that he can't look at people in the face. This girl in the face. He's been friends with this girl forever, but he can't look her in the face, and because it reminds him of his mother. As soon as I turned the corner, stood my back a wall, tried to sort out my breathing when I hear it. Said, "Where are you going?" Now I haven't even thought about it. The voice goes back to when I was 7. So he's basically having a flashback, trying to avoid a flashback. It looks like a panic attack, honestly. Anxiety, maybe? No, Victoria. So that's so cute. Oh, I appreciate it. We're just working with what we got, man. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. I totally spaced. Thank you so much. There you go. My bad. Let me move my camera over. I'm a little tired. There we go. I apologize for that. We're good. We're good. Yeah. So, how many of you, like, if somebody talks to you, I don't even know how to ask this question, man. How many of you have had moments where you hear something and you're just, like, taken aback? You know? Or it's just like you're suddenly in this moment that you had forgotten all about, or that you haven't thought about in a long time, or that, and like, you just space out. Like, you're gone. That's it. And then you don't even hear what anybody else is saying. Cassie does that a lot. Apologize for the noise. So, I feel like anyone can relate to this. Imagine not knowing your parents, or like, even worse, knowing your parents and then they left you. But like somebody who used to be around all the time, and then all of a sudden they're not, and then like years have gone by and you hear something or see something, like pick up a photograph or you hear a phrase or a song or something, and suddenly you're just gone. I feel like that's what's happening. But unfortunately for J-Hope's case, when it happens, he tends to like pass out. So it does happen. When you hear 2000s music, oh, it's such a mood. Yes. Okay. Alright, so interesting short little one. We got another short little one by Yumi. It says, the 8th of June, year 22. I put on a new t-shirt. The me that I saw in the mirror didn't look like me. I was wearing a t-shirt that said Dream on it. And in all aspects, that just wasn't my style. I didn't like that it was red. What's wrong with red, man? The word dream, or the way it fit tightly against my body. I took out a cigarette in annoyance and looked for my lighter. It was in my pocket of my jeans. I looked in my back pocket and realized that they took it. Without care, they had taken it out of my hands and threw a lollipop and this t-shirt at me. I ruffled my hair and stood up from my spot. I heard the sound of a message notification, and when I saw 3 letters on my phone screen, all of my surroundings around me became brighter and my heart dropped. I broke the cigarette in half as I checked the message. The me in the mirror was smiling. I didn't know what was so great, but the me wearing a tight red colored t-shirt that had the word dream on it was smiling like a fool. So that's the scene where he was laying on the couch in the highlight reel, and I was like, what does it say on the phone? And I said it was 3 letters, it's probably Jin. That doesn't tell us in here, but that's the scene that they're describing right now. Was he wearing the dream shirt in the video, though? I can't remember. So, does anybody know that answer? Like, was anybody paying that much attention to it? I feel like I might have said something about it, but I'm not sure. So, quiet today. You didn't catch if he was or what? No, I don't think he had his on. So, it's something, right? It's a small detail that we weren't paying attention to, and now we're like... So, but y'all remember he was on the couch, and he went to go reach for cigarettes, but he didn't have any. But he had the lollipop. But that was a different, like, scenario, you know what I mean? Like, the girl had given him the lollipop. We didn't know anything about the pack of cigarettes being empty. We just assumed it was either empty because she took them or dumped them, or that's just how it was when he was in the room, didn't realize it. But he smiled after he realized it was empty. And then he went to check his phone and he fell off the couch. And when he picked up his phone, he was just staring at his screen, but then he smiled. So he wasn't wearing it? Okay, so what if this is like a separate... This could just be like... The video could just been like a throw to, or maybe this is like... I don't want to say just yet. I'm not sure. I have a feeling I know what's going on, but I'm not quite sure yet. It's a lot to jump at. That's a lot to make that inference, so we'll keep moving. We'll keep moving. Anybody ever had a phone call just like change their day? Like you see somebody on a text message or a phone call where it's just like having a shit day, and then you get that right message or that right person on the phone, and you just smile. I feel like we all have. I don't even have to ask the question. We all have. So, all right. Jin puts an entry in on the 13th of June. This is a few days later. Jumping back to Jin's storyline, it says, back then, after returning from the sea, we were all alone. Before I keep reading, I kind of want to line up each one's individual entries and just read them one at a time. I wonder if that would make any kind of like... I might do that on my own time. Okay. So back then, after returning from the sea, we were all alone. We didn't keep in touch as if we had specifically planned not to. We merely assumed our existence by the graffiti left on the street. The brightly lit petrol station and the piano sound from the old building. Those were all the things that they like. I remember when those are the memories they had. This was when the after image of that night came alive like a vision. Taeyoung's eyes looked as if they had breathed fire, the way his eyes watched me as if he had heard something unbelievable. Namjoon's hand tried to stop him, and I, who wouldn't suppress it, threw a punch at Taeyoung. Now we remember that they got in a fight, right? Because he was just talking all this smack. Failing to find Taeyoung, who ran out, I returned to the dorm near the beach. No one was there. Only a broken glass cup, blood stains which began to dry up, and cookie crumbs brought me back to what had happened a few hours ago. There was a photo lying in the midst of this. In the photo, we stood together smiling while we posed with the sea as our background. I continued to walk past the front of the petrol station. The day when we would meet again would come. Someday we'd smile together just like in the photo. The day when I had the courage to face myself entirely would come. However, right then, that very moment was not the right time. Damp wind blew similar to how it did that day. My phone began to ring as if in warning. The photos I hung on the room mirror began to shake. What? Whoa, hold up. I gotta start that part over again. Okay. The damp wind blew similar to how it did that day. My phone began to ring as if in warning. The photos that I hung on the room mirror began to shake. I saw Hosuk's name on the screen. Jungkook was hit by a car. What the We kind of already knew, but the way that they described the moment, that was intense, dude. Shit. See you later, Mochi. I'm sorry, gotta go. Could help get their individual storylines straight, probably. Yeah, the highlight reels. Man, dude. Man. Okay, sorry. I'm kind of soaking it in. So that's intense. So I feel like it was a metaphorical aspect, saying like everything, like the mirror began to shake. The mirror began to shake. The photos I hung on the room mirror began to shake. Why are we talking about a mirror again, dude? My phone began to ring as if in warning. I saw Hosuk's name on screen. Well, how did J-Hope find out about it? I'm gonna keep reading. That's intense, dude. Could you imagine? And I'm sure some of us have been through this, like somebody in our lives passed and like you get that phone call and you just know. you know, just know something horrible's happened. I'm not gonna talk too much about this. I'm not trying to bring everybody down, but I feel like most of us can relate to that. I can't relate to that in terms of, because I've never had like anybody super majorly close to me die. So there will be a see, Helena says, I heard that there will be a K-drama about the BU. Is that true? I have no idea, but that would be really, really cool. I've already read this note and that sentence still shocks me. It shocks me, dude. Said in big hit conference there would be. Uh-oh, something else to look forward to. Something else to look forward to. They're gonna have actors play it. They better pick the right people, man. Just saying. You can get 8 alive if they don't. Okay. Intense. Alright, so Yoongi on the 15th of June, 2 days later. I wasn't aware of anything other than the sound of music playing in my head, not how much I had drunk, nor where I was, nor where I had been, what I had been doing. I didn't know, and it wasn't important. When I went outside stumbling, it was already night. I swayed as I walked. I bumped into pedestrians, new kiosks, walls. I didn't care. I just wanted to forget everything. And see, that's kind of like in the highlight reel when he was walking around drunk. Jimin's voice was still ringing in my ears. Brother Jungkook. My next memory was of running like crazy up the hospital steps. The hospital hall had been strangely long and dark. I passed people wearing hospital gowns. My heart pounded. Everyone's faces were too pale. They had no expressions. They all seemed like dead people. The sound of my breathing was harsh inside my own head. Inside the slightly open hospital room door, Jungkook was lying there. I turned my head without realizing it. I couldn't look at him. At the moment, I suddenly heard the sound of a piano, of flames, of a building crumbling down. I clutched my head and sank down. This is your fault. If it wasn't for you. It was my mother's voice. No, my voice. No, someone's voice. At these words, I was tormented by countless moments. I wanted to believe it wasn't so, but Jungkook was lying there. Jungkook was lying in a handful of corpse-like patients passing by. I was utterly unable to go inside. I couldn't check for myself. When I stood, my legs threatened to give out. I left with tears flowing. It was funny. I couldn't even remember the last time I had cried. I went across the street. Someone grabbed my arm and I came to a halt. Who was it? No, I didn't care. No matter who it was all the same. Don't come near me. Go away. Just leave me be. I don't want to hurt you either. I don't want to be hurt, so please don't come any closer. So that sounds like some cuts from the highlight reel. It sounds like it. I don't know if it is, but it sounds like it. And we remember Jungkook was in the hospital during the highlight reel, and then Yoongi was pissed in the highlight reel after he got the phone call. So you got a call like this in March. Oh my god, I'm so sorry, Insa. It's horrible. Characters are gonna have different names, but it's still to be you. They actually bought like film company or something to help produce it, as far as you know. They've been casting, so it'll be a while. Oh man, that's something to look forward to, though. That's interesting. What's sad about this is that it's not even sad. It's actually super impressive. The imagery of the pain that he was going through is so vibrantly written that it's almost like it fell down, like him crying fell down on him. It consumed him. So what did he say? That moment I suddenly heard the sound of a piano, of flames, of a building crumbling down. I clutched my head and sank down. This is your fault if it wasn't for you. And then he says, what did he say about crying? I gotta find it. It said, I couldn't even remember the last time I had cried. And he blamed himself for it. He was overwhelmed with devastation, right? And he did what we all do when things can be prevented, or like, you know, was just like, this is my fault, or he's got the regret when, like if somebody passes, now Jungkook hasn't passed, but like, when somebody passes, we always kick ourselves for not spending enough time with them or telling them something we should have. And I feel like that's what's going on right now with him. And he's blaming himself, but he's also projecting because of it. Oh man. He's got a sub-entry. Look, this one doesn't have a name, so I'm guessing it's by him too. I hope that's true. It's either a mystery entry or another entry by Yoongi. So I think the next one's by Taeyoung. Alright, let's read it. We could probably infer who it's about. I purposely slowed my footsteps and perked my ears up at the sound that someone was walking behind me. Today was my third time we had met at the convenience store. Yeah, this is Tae. If there was something that was different, it was that today they had not run away as soon as they saw me. Then they hung around in a small vacant lot behind the store. As soon as I appeared, they hid again. They hid well, but their shadow was reaching far towards the front of the abandoned lot. I laughed, I passed by pretending not to see, and they started to follow me. I entered a narrow alley, and this was the only place in our neighborhood where the street lamps weren't broken. The alley was long, and the street lamp was located somewhere in the middle. When the source of the light was ahead of my shadow stretched behind. That sentence doesn't really make sense. When the light was ahead of my shadow, when the source of light was ahead of my shadow, it stretched behind. I think they just left out a word. My shadow probably stretched all the way to the feet of the person who was following me with bated breath. As I passed beneath the street lamp, my shadow disappeared beneath my feet. I started walking a little faster. Not long after, a shadow that wasn't mine appeared on the cement road. I stopped my steps. The presence behind me stopped too. The two shadows of different heights stopped side by side. I spoke. I'm gonna wait until you come here. Shadow jumped. It held still as if saying it wasn't there. I could see everything. I pointed out the shadow. The sound of footsteps started to grow closer, purposefully noisy. I laughed. Who's following him? Is that a metaphor? Now I'm curious. Who's following him? Who's stalking him? Is it the girl? I wonder. Y'all don't have to answer. If it gives away something, don't answer. I'm just asking. Just let me know if it does. My homeboy got hit by a car. I'm stressing out. I don't know what happened. The girl from the reel? Okay. Alright, that makes sense. Where are we at on entries? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've read halfway through. Right. Now June's got the next entry. Alright, we're going to stop here for a second. We're going to chit chat for a minute. So, I got questions. How do you think the, because we haven't read anybody else's entry so far, right? And if you remember, keep it to yourself or give me what you think is going on. I'm going to try to make this as broad as I can in terms of rationalization. How do you think that you would feel if it had been your friend who got hit by the car? Even if you hadn't spoken to them, would you have been devastated? Or would it have been a lingering thing that would have bothered you until you either, moved on? Like, okay, so the best way I could put it is I had a friend in high school. We weren't really close, right? But I knew him and he was a great guy. And then I found out one day that he had gotten in a car crash and he had passed away. And it had been 10 or better years since I had graduated, maybe more than that, almost 15. And, or wait, not almost 15, but about 10 years after I graduated. And all I could do was like, I didn't know him, so like, and I had moved on from where I was living, so I couldn't really make it to his funeral. And I didn't know him like that, so I didn't want to just like show up to his funeral and be like, oh yeah, you know. And but it still ate me up for like 3 days. I was just like, I can't believe he's gone, you know. How many of you have ever gone through something like that? Like, I know I'm not the only one. It's gotta have happened to somebody else, right? Sudden death always lingers. There is no closure. Oh my god. That's so true. That's so true. One of your best friend's sisters, who was close with in high school, but not after, passed away in 2018, and I broke down crying when I found out. It's sad, man. I'm sorry to bring the room down. I feel like we're just in that part of the story, you know? So, but also guilty because you hadn't seen him in so long. See, that's how I felt. I was like, I didn't even keep in touch. Like, he was on my Facebook. Like, I could have just easily said hello. I mean, we can't dwell on it, but you do in the moment. And I feel like that's a hard thing to get by. That's a hard thing to get past. Oh. And no, yes and no on that question. He had seen that her Facebook posts were increasingly dark but didn't say anything. Sometimes I'm like that, but most of the time, if I see somebody in pain, I'll at least talk to them. They may not say anything to me, they may not even want to talk to me or just play like everything's okay, but I always let them know that I'm here to talk if they need me. And the same goes for all of you. If you guys ever need to just talk and or like somebody to vent to, guys, hit me up on Twitter. Spit it in my inbox. Just let it out, and I will get to it. I promise. I see everyone's messages. It's confidential. I won't tell anybody what's going on. That's just how it is. So, and I will do my best to be there for you. I've always been that way. I've had people come to me from this channel who needed to talk to somebody, and I've done that for them. And you guys ever have problems, you know I'm here for you. I do my best. So, I'm reading y'all's stuff. I'm not like being awkward. I'm just reading it to myself before I say it. Kind of different situation. I was amazed how many people I didn't talk to in years that came to your mom's funeral. I bet. I bet. And see, that's. I wouldn't say that's like the true sign of friendship, but that's, you know, the bond that you have made with somebody. The impression others, like, it goes a long way. It goes a long way. And even after it's a long way. Victoria, I'm so sorry to read your story. I feel bad about that. I feel bad about that, you know, rest in peace. But we're all here for you. We're all here for you. I don't know how long it's been, but, you know, she's always watching. She's always watching. Crazy, man. And it's like, we all have such big stories. You know what I mean? It's just nuts to think about how far back, even the young people of my chat, like I know Liv's not here, but she's the youngest I feel out of everybody who's entered my chat. And I know she's got a story, you know? And who's to say that story is just like cookie cut? Nobody's story is cookie cutter perfect, but like, it just makes me think, you know, I think I've got problems, but I've also lived a lot longer than some of the people I know. And like, I know what's coming. All the like the human things you got to go through. And I feel for whoever is younger, growing up in today's age, society, all the problems that they're going to have to face. And if I could give you all my wisdom, I would. If I could warn you, I would. I will. And but you know, it's just a life thing. It's got to happen. Gotta happen. So, and I'm glad you're good now, Victoria. I really am. So, aside from everything else going on, you know, and your dad's still around, right, Victoria? Your dad's still around? Because that's what we're trying to set up for, right? He is. He lives with you. Well, thank God that your dad's still around. God bless him. He raised a wonderful daughter. And I'm sure, let's say you had a daughter. Yeah, I'm sure your daughter's gonna get all those wonderful things that he's taught you as well. So, but all right, this is a weird time to paste this, but I've got to paste it, so I'm gonna put the link in here again. I really didn't want to, but this is what this is for. My bad. If anybody wants to help out, you post it. I know it's not really enthusiastic, but it is what it is. Everyone has a story. Even if you feel like your struggles are not big enough, they still matter. And I say that all the time. I've said it on Twitter, big or small, little or gigantic problems, man. This, whether you think so or not, you guys matter. You guys matter. Everybody matters. So I completely agree with that. So it's just well said, well spoken. So, okay. I'm going to try to pick up the mood here. Let's keep rolling with these notes. I'm sure it's probably going to get a little worse, but we'll try to keep it light. All right, so entry number 6 of the day. This should be the halfway mark right here. Nam June writes on the 30th of June. Let's check dates. This is 5 days later. I looked a little strangely at myself in the mirror, as if my hand had its own control, and pressed the open door button. There were moments like this, moments that felt like I had repeated countless times, even though it was obviously the first time. The elevator door that came closing opened again, and a bunch of people pushed in. A person that had their hair tied in a yellow rubber band caught my eye. This is the highlight reel. I didn't press the open button knowing that the person would be there, but I thought that it was obvious the person should be there. I moved back, one step at a time. As my back hit the cold wall, I raised my head. The yellow rubber band caught my eye. A person's back told a lot of stories, but I only understood a few of them. Some I had been able to faintly guess, and some I couldn't understand. I suddenly came to the realization that you could only really know a person when reading everything just from their back. Wait, what? I suddenly came to the realization that you could only really know a person when reading everything, and I'm guessing that's supposed to be not just from their back. Were there people who could read who I was just by looking? Wait, were there people who could read who I was just by looking at their back? Man, okay. Commas need to be in here. I raised my head and my eye contact with her through the mirror. She looked away. There were many moments like this. I raised my head again, but all I could see was my own face. I couldn't see my back. That didn't really make any sense to me. I raised my head, my eye contact with her through the mirror. She looked away. There were only moments like this. I raised my head again, but all I could see was my own face. I couldn't see my back. It feels like they're talking about perception, like other people's perception of you. You wonder if it's about posture. Yeah, it could be. It could be the way you hold yourself. Do you slouch? Like I slouch a lot. It could be an inference saying that you're not able to see who you really are, but others can see who you really are, even when you don't want them to. And maybe he was doing the same thing to them, and he's just coming to the realization that people are doing it to him as well. They ask the question, how well do you really know yourself? Do you see yourself the way others see yourself? Because the answer is no. We don't see ourselves the way others see us. We see ourselves one way, and then despite what other people's views on us are, we never see anything else. I feel like that's the message. That is the meaning of persona. So, because think about the distorted views you have on yourself, and it's I'll throw some facts in here for you. Did you know that the mirror makes you look more attractive than you actually are in your own mind's eye. And I'm not trying to rag on anybody or say that you're not a beautiful person, but it is true. Like, you look better in the mirror than you actually do in real life to your own perception. And I have no idea why. I wish I did. I think it's just about, like, because it gives you the opportunity to see what others see, you know? Like, you don't ever see yourself from the front unless you're looking in the mirror. You never see yourself in the back unless there's another mirror behind you. So, and mostly, well, see, it's not about, because Swiss says mostly people see themselves either worse or way better than others see them. So, yes and no. Yes and no. So it's like, I got this fruit fly flying around in here. So when I look at myself in the mirror, and I'm looking good, right? Like, let's say I'm getting ready for an event and I'm looking good. Like, when I got married and I tried on my tux, dude, I was like, I need to be wearing tailor-fitted clothes all the time. Like, you know, like, I was real happy about it. And I felt good. I felt really good. But I knew that the second I put on regular clothes, I was just going to be this normal guy, right? But that's what was the great thing about wearing tailor-fitted clothes, looking good on your wedding day. The mirror helped me feel better about what I was wearing, and the clothes I was wearing helped me feel better about myself. And, but there are days like today when I woke up and I get in the mirror and I see the things that I don't like about myself because I've been wearing regular clothes like the last however many months. And so, like, only the things that don't make me look good are standing out because I don't have that additive to it. And, but in, like, you ask somebody else, man, it's like, oh, I hate this about myself. And they're like, dude, that's one of the things I love about you. You know, and I'm like, because I do not like my smile. I hate my smile. And everybody's like, you got a great smile. Your smile's so contagious. And I'd be like, you're full of it. Because I give myself a hard time. But, you know, and Swiss, I'd rather go with your statement than my statement, is that you either look way worse or you look way better because of a mirror. You never get a chance to look at yourself, you know? And maybe that's what the symbolism behind the mirror is. Because we see the mirror in every single video almost. So, you sunk deep into Mr. Jung. The book Murray Stein just put out about BTS and Carl Jung is amazing. Someone told me this in the 8th grade and I think about it from time to time. That's why pictures from cameras look different, right? Dude! Yes, I hate taking pictures. I can't stand it. So, but I have to say, like, I look back on it years later and I'm just like, I'm so glad I took that picture. Say nearly every time I look in the mirror, I'm happy with what I see, says Madeline. Well, I'm glad, Madeline. That's a good attitude to have. So, and I'm not upset with my image. I'm just, there are some things that I would like to fix. So, alright, so let's see. What do we just read Nam's entry. And this is another untitled one. What's going on, dude? We're gonna have to contact these people and get them to fix this. Anybody have any idea what this one might be about? Who it might be about, rather? I think the comments will tell me. I think it's... They're guessing in here, too. I don't think there's a name for it. Maybe that's why they didn't put it in. Someone said it might be Hoseok. It might be Jimin. They don't know. So, let's read it. We could make an inference. We did good last time. In the end, I sprawled out on the floor. This happened on the 3rd of July, year 22. In the end, I sprawled out on the floor. I turned off the music, and all at once my surroundings were quiet. I heard nothing except the sound of my breathing and my own heartbeat. I pulled out my phone and played the choreography video I learned previously that morning. In the video, Hoseok's movements were smooth and accurate. Okay, so this is Jimin. That was the result of countless hours of sweat. and sweat. It was a result of practice. Since I was nowhere near what I Since I was nowhere near that, I was incredibly jealous. Understanding and hoping were different. I was discontented often. I suddenly stood up again. I imitated the turn as he'd done, but my steps kept getting tangled. I kept making mistakes at the part where we had to match our flow when moving positions. We had decided to try again tomorrow, but until then I wanted to show that I was serious, and rather than the playful praise of that was better than I expected, I wanted to be recognized as a serious and equal partner, one who could match breaths with Namjoon. Jimin, who's never happy with himself. And you gotta think about this. Check this out. His what do you call it? Can't even think right now. His belief that Namjoon is like the pinnacle, because he's trying to be like Namjoon, is what he said. So I can match breasts, be as good as Namjoon. So he admires, his admiration, that's the word I was looking for Namjoon is up there. But we all know that Namjoon's going through the struggle of like feeling good enough. So that's just a playback to the entry that was before, like, you know, how do others see you? It was, what did Namjoon say? Had I even seen myself? But all I could see was my own face. I couldn't see my back. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just you don't know what others see about you. I feel like that plays into that entry. So, is it meant to say Namjoon or Hoseok? I don't know. Get away, bug. I don't know. That's a good question. Now I'm sitting here wondering. It must have been Hoseok. Hoseok. Let me check the comments again. Somebody said, okay, Hoseok, not Namjoon. Okay. Yeah. To match breasts with Hoseok. Okay, so we all know Hoseok's the dancer, so I mean that would make more sense, right? And then Hoseok's entry is next day, so I mean that would make more sense. So it's supposed to be Hobie. Alright. Okay. Let's see. I stood in Hoseok's entry July 4th, Independence Day, year 22. I stood in the hallway the whole time she was receiving first aid. Now, this is after the incident, right? This is after the incident in the highlight reel. Even though it was night, the hospital hallway was bustling with people. Moisture dripped from my hair, wet with sweat and rain. I dropped the bag I had taken off her. A variety of things tumbled out of it. A few coins rolled away, and a ball pen and a towel. In the middle of it all was an airplane e-ticket. I picked it up and scanned it. At the moment the doctor called me, he said it was a mild concussion and nothing to worry about, but after a moment she came out as well. And after a moment, "Are you okay?" She said that her head just hurt a little bit, and she took a bag from me. Then she spotted the ticket, peeking out, and looked up at my face. I shifted my bag to my shoulder and said that we should go, pretending that it was nothing. As we left the hospital, it was raining as hard as ever. We stood side by side outside the door. "Hoseok," she said. It looked like she had something to say. "Wait a second, I'll get an umbrella." I ran off thoughtlessly into the rain. There was a convenience store in the distance. I knew that she had auditioned for an overseas dance team some time ago. The plane ticket meant that she had made it. I didn't want to hear her say it. I didn't have the confidence to congratulate her. That's tough, man. That's tough. I've been in that position before, but it's super, super hard to be noble in a situation like that. Because especially if you really want the same thing, you know. But he's losing a friend and he's losing a partner, and he really enjoys her company. And now she's going off to do something she really wants to do, like, that's gotta sting. That's gotta sting. You have to remember someone translated and published these, so they aren't so perfect. Very true, very true. But I mean, thank goodness they did, or we'd be stuck. You know what I'm saying? So, have y'all ever had friends who, and I know this has happened to me countless times in the adult world. Have y'all ever had friends who they would try certain things, and you support them and you say go for it, try it, and then like you either forget about it, or if you're the polite friend and you don't really think they make it, you still support them in their decision, and then when they make it, you just like don't even know what to say. Like, you're happy for them, but there are these people in the world who are like, that could have been me, and so they get mad and they don't support their friend for doing well. And like me, it's like if I know somebody's trying something, even if I don't think they can get it, I say go for it, because like you'll never know unless you try. And then when they do well, you need to support them by letting them follow it. And if they don't do well, you need to support them by being there for them and letting them know that there's going to be more opportunities. There will be other opportunities, because life is big, life is long, and you have a ton of stuff that you can do in that time. And it's not to say that opportunity won't come up again. So you just got to keep working at it. And then the next time it comes up, you can just dominate. So if anything, you got an advantage if that opportunity comes up again, because you'll have been through it once already. Anyway, sorry, I'm rambling. Nobody else is talking. So, has anybody ever like had a friend like that like they tried out for something and you fully support them? And no, you're good. I was just sitting here. I'm just sitting here talking. So, I think in the case he was upset that she was actually leaving, he probably feels like he's being left behind. Right, like she's been his partner this whole time, and now he's losing not only a partner but a friend, and she's female, so I'm guessing there's some kind of attraction there on some level. So yeah, so hurt, which I felt bad for, man. And like, so I'll tell you guys a story about me and Keith. Me and Keith used to work together in the same building, same room. He was my supervisor. And one of the things that he was constantly trying to do was get a raise and get this title that he really, really wanted as an employee. And before he was my supervisor, he was my coworker, and he constantly just doing a million things. And I was the guy who's like, look, if they're not going to pay attention to the actual work I'm doing, and I try and they still don't recognize it, I'm that guy who's like, I'll do it if you need me to, but I'm not going to put any extra super huge effort if, you're not even going to notice the good things that I'm doing, and it's probably a bad attitude to have. It really is. Keith, on the other hand, was like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, that, this, that, this, that. And then to top it off, he's like, and I'm going out for supervisor. And I went out for that position too. I was just like, I could be the supervisor. It's not a hard job. You just have to take a lot of crap. And so it was like, so I looked at him and he looked at me and he was like, I think you're going to get it, dude. And I was like, no, I think you're going to get it. And he was like, you're doing like 50 things and I'm doing like 8. And so I was like, do you want the position? And he's like, I don't know. He's like, do you want the position? I was like, if I get it, fine, I'll run it. I can do the job, but it's like, it's a lot of responsibility, man. I was the one doubting it, and he was just like, he didn't have any questions about it. He just kind of took it in stride. And so like the time came and they pulled him into the room and they gave him the job. And I was just like, hey, congratulations, dude. Because he's my friend. I love him. I want to see him succeed. And he's like, I really think you should have got it. And I was just like, honestly, you're probably the better man for the job, because I realized it's like, how much stuff you do here, dude? Like, I was like, I'm just an employee. Like, if I'd have gotten it, I would have ran with it and I probably would have done good. But I think you're the better fit, and I think they made the right choice. And I supported him. And, but even still to this day, he's like, honestly, I think you should have been in. So, you know, we support each other. That's a sign of a good friend. And so when he became supervisor, I saw him less because he was being pulled into other jobs and doing other things. And I became his assistant supervisor, essentially. So I ended up getting the job without the pay. So, and we all had, you know, we shared the load. It wasn't just him running the show. It was like when I saw him hurting, I stepped in and I helped him out. And he took all the glory and the credit, and I was totally okay with that. So, and that was it's the kind of bond that we have, I guess. But there are other people who would get bitter about situations like that. So, oh yeah, we're really good friends. Like, we support each other and everything. And you know, he's never been a bad person to me. He's one of the great friends that I have. So, I'm sorry I ranted on that. My bad, guys. Jimin, 4th of July, you're 22. Does he have... Okay. By the time I returned to my senses, I had washed my arms so much that I was losing my skin. And this is the scene from the highlight reel. My hands were trembling and I was short of breath. My eyes were bloodshot. What had just happened came back to me in fragments. For a moment, I had lost focus. I was dancing with a girl from the dance club, a collaborative dance, but I had lost my flow and we collided. I fell to the floor and my arm started to bleed. At that moment, I remembered what happened at the Flowering Arboretum. I thought that I had overcome it, but that wasn't the case. I had to run away. I had to wash it away. I had to look away. The me in the mirror was the same 8-year-old kid who had run away in the rain. Then all at once, I realized she had fallen down too. There was nothing I could do. All I could do was fall and hurt someone, leave them behind, and tremble at my own pain, only to run after them, too late with an umbrella before stopping. Every time I took a step, rainwater soaked my sneakers. Car headlights passed me by. It wasn't okay. No, it was okay. It didn't hurt. It wasn't as serious of an injury. I was really okay. So what's going on here? Because it sounds like he's justifying a bad situation. Sounds like he's justifying a bad situation. Now, we saw the pain is taking him back to a new area of thinking, you know, a new area, an old way of thinking, but he's correcting his behavior by realizing it's not as bad as it seems. So, oh, I'm out of drink. So, guilty of losing a friendship from MB for what they got to do, so I'll get... Yeah. I'm gonna stick with that assumption. I feel like that's a good assumption. Like, he's correcting his behavior. It's almost like he's getting better. But the fact that he quickly jumped to that realization that somebody else had to get hurt. Like, he hurt himself by, you know, bowing her and then washing so hard. He freaked out, he panicked, and then, like, it was too late to do anything about the other person because he was so worried about himself. And then once he realized somebody else was in a worse situation, he was just like, it's not that, my situation's not that big of a deal. So, oh yeah, he definitely had a panic attack. But did you notice how focused he was on himself as opposed to the other person? And it probably wasn't, I guarantee you it wasn't intentional. He was just freaking out. So, yeah. Yeah, and I feel like that's a broader message. The fact that it's not that bad in retrospect, but at the time, it feels like a big deal. And if you think about all the people who have anxiety attacks and panic attacks, they go through that. They go through that. And anyone who overreacts, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you've ever had a panic attack, if you've never had a panic attack, let me tell you something. It feels like a freaking heart attack. It feels like a heart attack, like you think you're dying. You think you're dying, and it's not some quick fix like you just breathe into a bag and it's over with. That's an anxiety attack. You could do that with an anxiety attack, but a panic attack, you feel like you're having a heart attack, and then the effects linger for however long after the fact, and it takes a little while to come down from it. So, and who is it? Where's she at? Taylor has panic attacks, and I'm guilty of inducing one of those. You know, it was a joke. For those of you who weren't here, it was a joke. We did something where I scared the group, and she begged me not to do it, and I did it anyway. I didn't listen, and I induced a panic attack, and she left. She unsubscribed from me so fast on every channel I had, and I had to find her and apologize to her because I felt awful. Like, my stupid childlike mentality was just like, come on, it's just fun. And then she's like, no, you don't understand it. And then I had to think about it, and I was like, she's right. Panic attacks aren't really anything to mess with. Because you could literally give somebody a heart attack. So, and I apologized. She came back, and we're good now. But like, I felt awful about that for like 2 weeks, dude. I was kicking myself for a little while for that one. So, but that was, my naivety, my immaturity came back to bite me in the butt. So, but it's because I couldn't put myself in her shoes. I didn't think about that. And by doing that, even though the outcome was negative, I learned something from it. And now if anybody's like, hey, I get panic attacks or I get anxiety attacks, I'm just like, all right, I'm on chill mode. I'm not cracking any jokes for the rest of the day, So, because I take things too far. So, let's see, what entry are we on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're on entry 10. We got about 3 more, you guys. 3 more. And on that note, I will be right back. I'm going to go crack a soda open, and I will be back in just a sec. I'm going to put the screen up. Y'all give me just a minute. It's hot under these lights, guys. Oh, it's hot under these lights. Okay. Yeah. See what you guys talked about for a minute. Excuse me. Used to have a lot of panic attacks at school, and once my teacher forced me to stay in the room and get over it. What the hell's wrong with her? Had a panic attack at my second ever driving lesson in October, and I haven't had one since. I had to stop halfway and everything, and he had to drive me back home while I was shaking. Oh no. You get stressed just about thinking about driving a car. So does Cassie. Cassie doesn't have her driver's license, and she does the same thing, but it stems from trauma in the past. So, it's not my story to tell, but I will say that it has kept her from getting a driver's license ever since. So, Victoria says, guys, just want to take the time to thank everyone here, whether you donated or given me encouragement and love. I've been so emotionally overwhelmed by your kindness and solidarity. Victoria, it is no problem. We love you. We hope everything goes well, and we're going to do our best to help you out. Hopefully, things go smooth. Hopefully things go easy. And hopefully your dad doesn't have to worry too much about funds for finding a place to hang out nearby. And on that note, we'll put a link up again if anybody wants to donate. Driving is stressful for sure. Have you ever, guys, Houston traffic is crazy. There's constant construction going on in Houston. It never ends. Like, Houston's been under construction for the last 40 years. It never ends. Some of the roads have gotten a lot better, but man, if you ever drive I-10, I feel sorry for you. I-10 or the 610 loop, they're the worst. Dallas is even worse. I'll never drive in Dallas. Ever. So. Ever. So. Alright. Clear the throat. Alright, so what we're going to do, we got 3 more entries, and then we're going to hang out, and I'm going to get out of here. We're going to discuss just like we normally have been. Let me check my time on stream. It looks like we're at 1 hour and 17. We're making good, normal, regular times with this, so I feel good about this. So Namjoon puts on the 13th of July in year 22. I rested my head against the bus window. From the library to the gas station, the scenery passed by the window, almost frighteningly familiar, since I took this route every day. Would there come a day I could leave the scenery behind? I felt that it was impossible to predict that what tomorrow could bring, nor to hope for anything. And that's how I feel every day. What's tomorrow got in store for me? I don't have anything planned other than the typical stuff, you know? And it's almost like you're floating through life like it's pain. That's a painful thought. There was a woman sitting in front of me and her hair tied with a yellow rubber band. She's back, ladies and gentlemen. Her shoulders lifted and then dropped as if she was sighing. Then she rested her head against the window. For around a month already, we had studied at the same library and gotten on the same bus stop. We hadn't spoken a word to each other, but we looked at the same scenery and lived at the same time and sighed the same sighs. The hair tie was still in my pants pocket. This is from the highlight reel, but he's been saving this hair tie since he last saw her. The woman always got off the bus 3 stops before I did. Every time I saw her leave, I wondered if she was going to distribute flyers. What kind of time was she spending? What kind of things was she enduring? How strongly did she feel stifled at the thought that tomorrow might not come, or that from the beginning there had never been such a thing as tomorrow? I thought things like that, because Namjoon's a thinker, and that's all he ever does. The woman's stop began to approach. Someone pressed the stop request button, and other passengers stood up from their seats. But in the midst of this, the woman didn't stir. She just stayed in her seat, and her head against the window. It seemed like she was asleep. Should I go and wake her? I fought with myself for a moment. The bus approached the stop. The woman didn't move. People disembarked, the door closed, and the bus started to move. The woman didn't wake. Even as we passed the next 3 stops, as I moved to the bus door, I fought with myself again. It was clear that once I got off the bus, no one else would pay attention to her. She would wake up somewhere far from her stop, and it was impossible to know how much more tired she would be today because of it. I left the bus stop and started to walk towards the gas station. The bus took off, and I didn't look back. What the hell is that noise? Okay, sorry. Didn't look back. I had left the hair tie on top of her bag, but that was it. That wasn't a beginning, and as such, nor was it an end. It was nothing to start with, and there was no reason for it to be anything, so I thought it really didn't matter. So he worked up this courage to talk to this girl, at least give her the hair tie, right? And we remember from the highlight reel, he even inched closer to her, but he never made the move. He just left it on the binder. He never did anything else than that. And then he got off the bus. He worked up himself, And it's like, how can you wonder about things unknown and be like not okay with the life you're living and not having a schedule or things of promise ahead, and you never take any opportunities, you know? It's like, it's almost like he did it to himself, but I mean, maybe he couldn't help it. We don't know, you know? So, Jungkook's entry, 16th of July, year 22. Yeah, I hate when it happens too. And so it's really not like you want to, right? You want to, but you don't know how. You don't know how. You're just too timid to make the move and take that opportunity. And even if you have all the support in the world, your mind still tricks you into saying there's, what if? And the what ifs are what gonna kick your butt, you know? The what ifs are what will kick your butt in the end. If you listen to the what ifs, you may never know what if, you know? So if you listen to all the negative what ifs, don't worry about what could go wrong. Worry about what could go right. And if something goes wrong, it goes wrong. I mean, at least you tried. So, what if it's life's biggest flaw, but it's also its biggest promise? In the sense that if you never do something, you're constantly asking yourself, what if? Right? What if I had done this? And then if something goes wrong, what if something goes wrong? What if something, what if? But you can look at it from both angles. You can also look at it as a promise. What if I hadn't done that? Where would I be? Would I be in this great position? What if I don't do this? Am I going to have to live this way the rest of my life? You gotta ignore it. Like, just do it. Don't ask questions. Just do. Like, analyze the situation. Figure out the pros and cons. If the cons don't outweigh the pros, do it. Even sometimes when they do outweigh the pros, you gotta do it. And those are hard choices. So, but we all get faced with them, and it has to be done. So, right. And we're all in that boat. We've all had that same experience. So, Jungkook's entry at the 16th of July, year 22 says, I stood by the window with my headphones on, humming softly to the song. It had been a week. I didn't have to look at the lyrics to sing along to the song anymore. I took the headphones off one ear to listen to my soft voice. Although I liked the beautiful lyrics, they still made me shy. I scratched my head. Huge window lets in the bright sunlight of July. The trees swayed gently in the wind. Every time the light shined on my face, it felt different. I closed my eyes. Closing my eyes filtered out the light, and started singing again. I didn't know if it was because of the lyrics or the song or what, but it felt as if my heart had been painfully broken. So what is this scene? What is this scene? I felt like, because remember he was looking at stuff in the highlight reel, right? He was looking at the lyrics in the highlight reel, and then he took off the headphones and he saw the girl playing her music. So maybe this is a precursor to that scene, like Namjoon's scene was a precursor to the bus stop scene, or the girl with the hair tie scene. So it could be left out too, because they didn't cover the bridge part. So didn't cover the bridge part. How long were these? How much time we got left? Let me see. 25. Alright, this is going to be my last one for today. On the next one, I'm going to read Taeyoung's. This is going to be the last one for today. Alright, so Taeyoung's entry is the 17th of July, year 22. I thought my side was going to rip apart in pain. My sweat dripped. A hiding place on the railway, the empty lot behind the corner store, underneath the overpass. The girl was not to be found. I ran even to the bus stop, but here too, they were unable to be seen. Those waiting for the bus stared at me strangely. What had happened? We hadn't promised to meet, but it was still strange. She always turned up somewhere and followed me wherever I went. Even if I said she was annoying, it was useless. But in any of the places we'd been together, his shadow could not be found. Having arrived at a familiar wall, I stopped my footsteps. Why did it say his shadow? Having arrived at a familiar wall, I stopped my footsteps. It was graffiti we had done together. It was almost the first artwork she had completed. On top of it, a huge X sign had been drawn. It was that girl. I hadn't even seen them, but I still knew it. How? There was no answer per se, but on the wall, there were many images superimposed on each other. The way they laughed on the day I lay on the railway and hurt my head, the way they had helped me rise after I fell trying to help, the face as they were mad when I stole their bread to eat it, the way their expression would dim when we passed a family portrait store, the way their eyes would unknowingly trail after passing students. As we sprayed this wall, I said this: if something's hard, don't just suffer alone. Tell me. The X was drawn over all our memories. It felt like they were saying all of those things were fake. It felt like they were saying everything was a lie. Without knowing, I curled my hand into a fist. Why? There was no answer, of course. I turned and walked away. I was alone again. The girl and myself, both alone. His father's metaphorical shadow, maybe? Maybe. It's translated from Korean, and Korean doesn't have gender-specific pronouns. They have just chosen the wrong one. Okay, no worries. So, is he talking about the guys here? If something's hard, don't just suffer alone, tell me. He's talking about all the memories they had. Because it feels like he's talking about the guys. The way they laughed on the day I lay on the railway and hurt my head. He's talking about the girl he did graffiti with. Yeah, but he keeps using they. It felt like they, the way their eyes. Maybe he's using it in relation. You think? Do you think he's using it as a comparison, at like comparing the girl to the dad? Like being there but not being there kind of thing? It's not making sense. So let's read this last piece. The way they laughed on the day I lay on the railway and hurt my head. We know the girl was there with them on the railway, right? The way they had helped me rise after I fell trying to help. The face as they were mad when I stole their bread to eat it. The way their expression would dim when we passed a family portrait store. He's got to be talking about the girl. The girl and myself, both alone. What if he's talking about the girl and himself? He's just referring to himself in the third person. The way they, because they were together, right? It was them. He's referring to the girl and himself in the past tense. I think that's it. So, like, I don't think it's like a mishap. I think he's doing that on purpose. Because it's almost like that's somebody else, that's they. We don't talk about them, you know? Because at the end, he's like, the girl and myself, both alone. It's interesting. I have to dig deeper into that later. I think that might be it, though. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. It's awesome. All right, so tomorrow, I'm doing this so I don't lose my spot because I had to go back and watch yesterday's video, figure out where I was. Tomorrow we're going to start on Nam June, and on the 20th of July, year 22, is a good read today. Appreciate it. All who donated and all of you for being here and chit-chatting with me through this because I feel weird when I read stuff by myself. So, because then I'm just like asking questions and nobody can help me. So, for sure, if y'all want to rewatch, go rewatch it. Catch up. You know, y'all can skip past my babble parts and just read the notes with me and stuff if you guys want. But definitely worth it. Guys, I appreciate your support for me and for Victoria. Those of you who donated, those of you who hung out, sending out the purple hearts, giving her all the love in the world. She deserves it. It's been fun. It's hard to imagine tomorrow's going to be the last day of reading these, dude, because I've been having a blast. And it's been great, like, learning stuff with you guys and looking at different perspectives. So, different perspectives. But, you know, purple hearts all the way around, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here for the day. I love you all. I appreciate you all. Can't wait for tomorrow's live stream. Will it be around the same time? It'll be during the day. It won't be at night. It'll be during the day. So probably around 1 or 2 my time. So, around this time. Easy answer. So, but I love you all. Y'all stay safe. Y'all stay healthy. I'm going to put on the outro. I'm going to get out of here, you guys. We'll see you later.